Welcome to the Secret Stash.
Shh, that's super secret.
And this is the only show that tracks down the local people behind the places and things we love.
I'm going to kick it off with my favorite thing ever.
Then goes deep to reveal the best kept secrets behind them all.
Why don't we talking to people? Let them know. Shout the rooftops. This is great.
And leave you with a stash of stories and offers you'll only find here. Now, here's your host, Jesse Ibañez.
Secret agent man, secret agent man. They've given you a number and taken away your name.
Woo! What's happening? SVP and Rosillo, new programming on ESPN locally. We were just high-fiving those guys in the hallway. I think they were on their way to get some coffee. Yeah? No?
Sure.
Maybe so. Hey, what's happening? I'm the secret agent man, Jesse Ibañez, co-founder of the GreenHouse Group. And you in the stash, baby. And we got some cool local people doing some cool local things, finding out some secrets and some stories behind them. And wouldn't you know that today, I guess that be us.
I guess.
I'm flanked by my man, co-founder of the GreenHouse Group, Jeremy Beck, mortgage planning aficionado.
Hey, buddy.
What else? Mortgage consultant, mortgage planner, tall drink of water.
Professional athlete.
Sure. Hung him up, though. Hung him up because why? Because you had a higher calling in life.
Sure.
Right? You had to go give yourself in service to the folks that are looking to buy or borrow and make sure that they don't get you-know-whatted by a bad rate program dude, loan hack, insert funny superlative there. My man, Jeremy Beck. Thank you for being in the house, brother.
Great intro, buddy. I appreciate that.
You know,
that was a laundry list.
Hey, all week I've been working on that for you, man. Hey, today we got something special in store for you. If we happen to be catching you right now, who knows? Maybe you're cruising in your ride, getting from A to B. Who knows? Maybe tuning in live right now on the Listen Live tab on ESPNRadio1700.com. You know, it occurs to us while we're in our normal game there at the GreenHouse Group, helping folks get into and out of homes and getting some good financing in between, that there's some fundamental elements of that conversation that seem to get overlooked when someone's either trying to enter into that space for the first time or maybe they're trying to redo some space that they've already got. Yep. And we love taking that spirit and shrinking it down into a little segment we like to call Stash on the Streets. Jeff, let's run it, baby.
Time now for Stash on the Streets.
Get off the streets! Get off the streets!
You think you know,
I personally believe that U.S. Americans don't have them.
but you have no idea.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Now, here's Jesse Ibañez on ESPN Radio 1700.
And that's exactly what we did, gang. We went out and got 4 real estate questions and 4 mortgage planning questions and hit the streets. And my man, producer Adrian, has that cachet live and loaded up with Jeff in the studio right now. We don't know what the answers are, so we're going to put a little friendly wager right now. We're going to right now tap into our knowledge base of what we think the average person in San Diego knows about some fundamental real estate stuff. So, Jared, what do you think the stakes should be? I think last time we had to go double Dutch on a dinner, didn't we?
Last time the stakes were a steak.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you need to give me a foot massage this time.
That sounds terrible.
Hey,
no,
man.
I mean, I would have definitely changed my questions.
These feats is tired. No, what do you want it to be?
That's a good call here. God, man, you put me right on the spot.
Come on,
I just got to come up with it.
Yeah.
All right.
Lay it down.
All right. Jeez.
Loser what? Loser what?
Loser has to. I don't know, bro.
Bro, really?
What,
we got
what
an hour show. How long are we going to burn on this? Okay, so loser has to bring the other guy lunch tomorrow at work.
That sounds super exciting.
All right, cool.
I think I was...
Preferably you have to make it. Preferably it has to be homemade.
Homemade
okay.
lunch.
All right, here we go.
That is a struggle.
Jeff, let's get this party started, buddy. Okay, let's introduce who the first person on the street's going to be.
My name's Viviana. I'm 27 years old, and I'm from Solana Beach.
A 27-year-old female from Solana Beach.
Okay.
So we asked this question: what's the number one reason renters said they would want to be an owner?
Okay.
That's, and the interesting element of this, multiple choice, is that I would bet that all four of these would be very popular answers. So the choices were an investment.
Okay.
Right? So they stopped throwing their money away on rent. That was option A. B is personal expression. Right? So maybe they want to go paint a wall or get down with whatever they want to in the spot.
Interesting.
Right? Number 3 is stability.
Okay.
You know this to be an important one, like no fear of being evicted.
Right.
You got a place to call home. You don't have to move anymore. Right.
Rent's going up.
And then D would be family. Laying down some roots and making that co-creating that concept of home. Interesting. Well, I think that every renter would say investment. And I'm not saying that's my final answer yet, but I'm just playing off the whole rent versus. Have you seen some of the? Jer, you're going to share on how low the rates are right now, right? Yep. So whenever you're a renter, you're looking to buy. You're looking at what's called the affordability index, that triangulation of the 3 prevailing points: available mortgage rates that you could borrow. That's number 1. How much the average person is making in that little area, and then what's the average price of the home
cost.
And so that is called the affordability index. Since they've been tracking it, it is at one of the lowest rates it's been in San Diego County in a long time. Why? Because the rates are so freaking low.
That's amazing.
Right? So from that perspective alone, God, man, I don't know. There's a part of me also, I think, that, you know what? I'll play back on that a little bit. So let's move on. Let's go through the next one. So personal expression, I don't think that would be a number 1 reason. I'm going to pass on that one. Stability, number 3. No, I'll tell you what, the one part about stability I think really pops up is the concept of a rate increase.
Yep.
Okay. Rental rates are on the rise. I got this little stat here. From 2004 to 2014, average rent in San Diego County rose 24%. And then
in 1 year?
No, from that 10-year span.
Oh.
And then by 2019, which is only a small stone's throw from where we are right now, average rent is expected to jump another 19%.
It's pretty substantial.
I don't know if everybody's as familiar with those numbers, though, so I'm not so sure that C, even though important, is going to be the answer. And then family, God, that's like a catch-all.
Yeah, family.
Everybody knows the family one. I'm going to go with the low-hanging fruit. I'm going to go with the stop throwing their money away on rent versus own. Which, by the way, did you know that for a $400,000 purchase, what the rates are where they are right now, if you're putting down a 20% payment, what's 20% on $400,000?
80.
80 grand. So if you got 80 grand to put down, you don't have to get mortgage insurance. To get a comparable $400,000 home, you have to find rent that is less than $800 a month.
No way.
For it to make more sense to rent.
Wow.
That's insanity.
That is insanity.
What would that be, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home?
For a $400,000?
Yeah.
I mean, you're the realtor. You're the secret agent, man.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good luck, dude. $800. That's why it's cray right now. But again, I'm going to go with that. Jeff, I'm going to go with investment A. Run it. Let's see if I got it.
D, family.
Ah! All right. Okay, all right. I'm on the board with the big X. Damn, I thought I had that one.
Ham sandwich.
It was it's right there. You're going to get old stale moldy bread if I have to make you lunch. Okay, all right, let's see. Let's go on to the next. So that was the first real estate question. Let's get to the mortgage question. Now, Jeff, who did we catch for the mortgage question?
I'm Brittany Simmons, 22, and I live in La Jolla.
Oh, she's 22. She's young. She lives in La Jolla. I don't know, man. This is already setting me up here. Okay.
So what was her question?
Okay. So her question was, what's the minimum percentage of down payment needed for a standard conventional loan?
Okay.
That's not FHA, VA, or USDA. So
interesting.
Put the caveats in there just in case somebody knows what they're talking about. There's a variety. Every program's got a different down payment, right? VA, obviously, no down payment. Yeah. USDA, cool little program for rural areas. There's some of that in San Diego.
It's true.
No down payment. Pretty cool. FHA, we all know FHA is 3.5%. So I'm curious to know if people know. I was at the chiropractor this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a conversation with the guy cracking my back.
You working on that scoliosis?
And he said that he was talking about it with his girlfriend about buying a house.
Okay.
And they were waiting to save up the 10% that they needed. It's crazy. So, us being submerged in this conversation, we don't know what people don't know.
Right.
So it's interesting. So, so let's talk a little bit about that. This actually is almost a benefit because, to me, because I think obviously she won't know. But what's my job? I got to guess what she's going to say.
Well, you were the one that structured the question.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to, I guess, pin yourself your own way of whether you're going to get it right or wrong.
Okay. Well, I think she's not going to get this right, specifically because there's a recent change, but also because of all the things I talked about.
So
I think she's going to think you need 20% down.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And that's not right.
Which would be amazing, 20% down. But like we just said a second ago, $400,000, $80,000 you got to have either lying around or a super dope rich uncle.
Sure.
That's just dropping you big gift funds.
Sure.
So you think she's going to answer 20?
I think she's going to say 20. She's going to get it wrong either way.
And the correct answer is?
Well, actually, Fannie and Freddie just rolled out a new program where you can do it as little as 3% down.
So Fannie and Freddie, those are what? Those are the big
mortgage backers
that are kind of setting all the rules.
They're buying all the loans, so they set the rules basically.
Okay, now you mentioned a bunch of. You said conventional. That's part of the question itself, but you rattled off a couple other things that I don't know. They're like acronymy. You said FHA, VA. So play through those options, maybe juxtapose from conventional.
All right, great. I'm glad you said that, Jesse, because I brought some materials here.
Okay, good. Well prepared.
With the new 97% program, or 3% down on conventional, what you'd compare that to is like an FHA loan, which is the standard low down payment loan that most people think
of. First-time buyer, right.
3.5% down.
And it's actually better because 3.5 is the minimum for FHA, right?
Yep. So that used to be the best game in town.
Yep.
You used to have to need 5% on conventional. Well, now they're rolling out this 97%. No MI. On a sales price of $400,000, you have a lower down payment, $12K instead of $14K with FHA.
Okay.
You don't have any mortgage insurance, and you're saving about $81 a month with a lower total loan amount.
Okay, good. Now you said that to you. So MI, that means mortgage insurance?
Mortgage insurance.
So anytime you're putting down, less than 20%, you typically have mortgage insurance.
That's either paid by you or by the lender in form of a higher rate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so why are they doing this? Why are they coming out with such an aggressive, even better than FHA? What's their incentive?
Flexibility, man. They want the money. They want to do loans, and to do loans, they need to keep opening the doors further. People buy, and then you got to open the doors to get it. This is that pendulum that we swing between super strict and super lax that got us in trouble in the past when you were you don't even need a job. You get to write down whatever income you want and do 100% financing. Okay, well, that's one side of the spectrum. The other side is, maybe a handful of years ago when everybody said they couldn't get a loan. So money was tight.
So no MI. That's crazy, dude.
Lender paid MI, which means they build it into the rate.
It's cooked in a little bit to the rate. So just it's spitballing. I know that every situation is different, but what would that little percentage in the gap in the rate be?
Typically, I think it's around a quarter, but it depends on half a quarter of a percent in rate.
Okay.
But it depends on how little you're putting down.
Okay.
So that spread becomes less the more you put down. So 5, 10, 15%, you pay a little bit less of an increase in your interest rate or a little bit less of mortgage insurance because your safety is a little bit better.
Man, that is crazy. Listen, I got to believe that if you're catching us right now and you're even within remote consciousness of either thinking about getting your first home or maybe you're strategizing on how you can parlay that into your second home, which, I mean, with the rates being where they are right now and the price is still kind of holding on, if you got a stable job and you're feeling good about being here for the next 7 years plus, that is an insane loan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, before getting the answer, if that's something that's finding it, you got to write this down. greenmeansgrow.com/Jeremy, right? That takes them right to your page. They can have an opportunity to get in touch with you. So your answer was?
Not getting it right. She's going to say 20 down.
Let's run it, Jeff. Let's see.
I honestly have no idea. Maybe like 10,000?
It was a dollar amount. I didn't see that coming.
Okay, good. So you're right. You're right. She got it wrong. 10,000.
She's young.
Yeah.
She's 22. She's not thinking about buying a house yet.
What's interesting, though, is you kind of set her up for failure there by not giving enough of the math. Because if she just dropped $10,000 and happened to be right about what the 3% down was, you would have gotten one of those. So
depends on the purchase price.
All right. So let's say right now that you're up by a point. We're just going to say that because I don't want to necessarily understand and appreciate that yet.
Or admit it.
We're just going to say it, okay? So you're up 1. I'm down 0. Hopefully, coming up, We're going to talk a little bit more about families with kids and something very interesting about the positive role of home ownership and what it has on the children living there. And then Jeremy's going to drop some knowledge about FICO that you're not going to want to miss.
So much fun information.
But first, a quick word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Be sure to check out our website, secretstashradio.com, for free swag and special offers just for our listeners. You are listening to The Secret Stash with host Jesse Ibañez on ESPN Radio 1700.
What's happening, gang? You in the stash, baby. And we got some cool local people doing some cool local things. They just happen to be us right now. Because I'm flanked right now by my business partner, co-founder of the GreenHouse Group, Jeremy Beck.
Thank you.
His bag is mortgage planning. And I happen to take care of the real estate wing of things. And we went out in the streets this last week with a pack of 4 questions for average folks. Happened to get bumped into and marauded by our show producer, Adrian. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to get a pulse as to what the average cat knows on the streets. And we got some good ones. First segment, we learned a little bit about what the number one reason renters buy homes for are. And I took one in the pants there on that one. I'm a big fat goose egg on this competition. Mm-hmm. Jeremy posed the question very, favorably, and he's up by 1. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, Jer.
Why don't you mind your own business, you nitwit?
Whoa, dude, that was really mean.
Shut up, Adrian.
Wow. I didn't think it was that bad, but all right, Jer. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get rolling on this again. So second round of this. Jeff, tell me who I got first up on the street.
My name is Maria Perez. I'm 60 years old. I live in Vista.
Okay. Maria, 60 years old. The question we hit her with was about families with kids. Mm-hmm. Now, is it true or false? So I got a coin flip on this one. Yeah. Okay. According to several studies, despite the stressors a mortgage can cause, right? So imagine,
all right.
Of course, you're always going to usually go
your payment.
Right.
Yeah.
Home ownership is proven to have a demonstrable positive role on the success and happiness of children living there.
Interesting.
I'm going to say no matter what, she's going to get this right. I think it's kind of a no-brainer.
Seems like a really softball lob to yourself on a competition question.
Talk about the donkey with ears after coming out of the last round. So a little bit of background on this. So there were several studies, as it was demonstrated in the question, but one particular from Ohio State University did a whole research panel on this. And what they found was homeownership seems to benefit children because the environments in homes, including such things as, safety, maintenance, and the availability of educational materials, are on average better than those in rental units. So it's just, I'd say...
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So just the actual real tangible things are kept better.
And, dude, talk about volleyball lobs. It's perfect segue into the next part, which was this. He said, we were skeptical at first that homeownership would have any connection with the emotional environment, which is the other side of the coin.
Yep.
But as it turned out, it did. Homeowners had, on average, a better emotional environment for their children than did renters. And that makes more sense to me.
I'm not surprised at all to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to say about your girls.
So one thing you might know about me is that when I went to school, I did my education in psychology.
Right.
And so there's a lot of components to the way you feel about your environment. And one of the most critical ones is locus of control. Yeah. The idea that you are controlling your own destiny. And that's absent when you're a renter. Every time that lease comes up, what's my new payment going to be? Yeah. Every time, are they going to kick us out? Are they going to fix the sink? Like, none of it feels like it's in your control. Right. And the children are going to pick up on that for sure because you're going to talk about it at the dinner table. So I'm not surprised at all to hear that has a trickle-down effect.
I love that contribution, man. That's spot on. And as I think about that, just coming from a place of personal experience, I was fortunate enough to where, my folks owned a home for as much as I can remember. Now, granted, we had hard times just like I'd imagine most people go through, but that consistency of always knowing that was my home was a critical element of my foundation and can't go underserved. You know, I think confidence, you could argue, is probably the most immutable law in a child's universe.
Interesting.
And so, again, I think Maria is on top of this. I think she's got this.
When you're referring to when you're growing, are you talking about the motor home or the camper shell? Like which one?
No, this was the thing on stilts, like that normally goes in the back of a truck, like a pickup truck.
Aha.
You know, Jeremy,
those are cool.
Those
are cool.
That's not nice.
Well, I know too much, maybe.
Jeff, can you please get Jeremy off the air and tell me if I won this question or not?
True.
Yes! Yeah. All right.
That's the easiest thing I've ever heard.
All right. I'm rolling now. Good. All right, back on the board. Now, Jeremy, your time to fail. Here we go, brother.
Mine's already a gimme.
Let's see who we picked up on the streets. Jeff, who do we get for Jeremy?
My name is Tim, 30, from Carlsbad.
Oh, Tim sounds serious.
No, he's a gamer, dude.
He sounds serious.
He's a gamer.
He might know some stuff.
He's a gamer. Okay, what did you get for Tim?
All right, so my question was, what's the average American's FICO score?
Okay.
That was it. And I'm even going to give, I know no one's going to nail this unless they happen to actually know it.
Yeah, by the way, for the record, I'm taking umbrage with the way you structured these questions. Okay, but please continue.
So, I feel comfortable giving a little window here. Maybe let's call it a 10-point swing. So anywhere within the 10 points, I'm going to give him that.
I don't know, dude.
He's 30.
I don't know.
All right. So what's interesting is that FICO score is everything. So I have some notes on here on how that might affect somebody.
Drop it
so
down.
Check this out.
Yeah.
The answer is embedded in some of my stuff. So I kind of want to maybe wait to hear what he says, and then I'll rock this.
Jeff, what did Tim say?
Probably, I don't know, 650.
Ooh, that's got to be close, right?
I thought he was doing it.
I would say the average is a little higher.
Okay.
What, 680-ish?
That would probably be what I would imagine most people to guess.
Okay.
It's actually 692.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
Americans moving on up.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty consistent. So I looked at it last year too, and it was about a point lower. So it's pretty consistent. So here's some interesting stuff. So imagine 692 is the average person's FICO score.
Okay.
And what does FICO score do? Right? Let's backtrack and put a little groundwork here. FICO score is one of the large drivers on the type of interest rate that you get, the programs you're allowed to do, how much down payment you have to make. So considering all that, if the average person's FICO score is 692 on a $400,000 loan, they're going to spend about $1,938 a month.
Okay.
Okay? $1,938 a month. If their score just increased just 8 points to 700, that's going to drop their payment $31 a month. That's $11,000 over the life of the 30-year loan.
Wow.
If you can get that up to 720, you're doubling that.
That's insanity.
$22,000. And these are small increments. When you talk about 8 points on your credit score, that's very feasible. And this isn't a credit score discussion, so we're going to lay off that, but isn't that interesting?
Well, and I know all the little bag of tricks that you've got at your disposal, and so I'll actually plug for you that you actually have a credit booster, like what would you call it, like product or strategy is probably better. Folks that come in, you pull their credit, they want to be a homeowner, you see that, and if you can notice some things, we'll call those the low-liar fruits in the FICO game, you can bump them. I've seen you do this tons of time for our clients.
A cool story is that we had some clients come in, and one of the first things that I do is review credit with them, and then if there's some things we can talk about, a lot of people don't even know what's on there.
Right.
So we just had some buyers come in. In the beginning when they came in, they were sub 700.
Yeah.
We gave them some clues as to what things that they can manage to help them walk. And, they had a 720 before we closed. We repulled credit, got them a new score. They saved $7,000 on their closing costs.
That's insanity.
$7,000.
Yeah, probably because you took the time, right? Which is what separates you as a mortgage planner.
It was a matter of spending a couple hours on that with them. But, I mean, they obviously appreciate it and are amazed.
So... reluctantly, another score for Jeremy.
Boy, I hope you made your questions easy at the end here.
To the halftime break. Looks like you're up by one, brother. 2 out of 2 correct for Jeremy. Only 1 out of 2 from me.
I'm thinking enchiladas.
Coming up, we're going to do some school ranking. I know this is a hot button topic for a lot of homeowners right now. School districts is critical. And then you're going to talk about another side of the game, the reverse mortgages.
Yeah.
So coming right back up, you're going to learn some more about stash on the streets. What's the average cat know about real estate that they got to get, hopefully, a good understanding of before they ever get a chance to buy one or get a mortgage for themselves. We'll be right back.
If you missed any of the show, check out the podcast at secretstashradio.com. Welcome back to The Secret Stash with host Jesse Ibañez on ESPN Radio 1700.
Hey, what's happening, gang? Well, thank you for hanging out. You in the stash. We got your noon hour, ESPN Radio 1700. And I don't know about you, Jer, but over the break, we were commenting on this rocket fuel that we got in our hand from Justin. Justin is like so far ahead of his time with this local juice stuff. So I got the cold proof right now. If you have any idea about like the movement that's happening in coffee, you've heard about Bulletproof. Now, Bulletproof is like way ahead of its time. Like basically, dude up in Silicon Valley, like concocted this crazy scheme on how to create like the ideal cup of coffee so that not only were you getting the jack from it, but also it's like incredibly healthy, giving you all kinds of like brain food and stuff.
Interesting.
Well, Justin basically got that going on here in San Diego and then some, because his cold proof is like got ghee, MCT oil, almond milk. It's got toffee, stevia, and then he uses Bird Rock coffee, which is my favorite in San Diego County. Is this stuff not crazy?
It's really good, actually. I didn't think I was going to like it.
Well, you know, I'm glad I could actually bring something to your life that would bring a little bit more happiness.
Well, you know, you start adding all that stuff, and then, it's going to be healthy, and it's not going to be that good. That stuff, that tastes like coffee.
Yeah, and it's good. You got to check Justin out. His spot's called Local Juice Company. He's got like, I'd say probably the premier. You can't find this anywhere else. There's nothing that's made like this locally. That's why I want to make sure we give him a shout out.
Cool.
Thank you, Justin, for fueling this segment. And as for us, we got this train. We'll keep on rolling. Stash in the Streets, segment 3.
Let's do this.
Jeff, who do I got first?
Vicky Hammond. I'm 34, and I live in Point Loma.
Okay, so Vicky, and if you're just catching us right now, basically here's what's going down. We grab some people on the streets. We're asking them basic like real estate and mortgage questions. And Jeremy and I got a little friendly wager back in the office to see who knows more about the common pulse of the folk here in San Diego. So Vicky was asked, hey, rank the school districts in San Diego County. And according, of course, to popular ranking sites, we got to default to some third-party verification thing, right?
Sure.
Which San Diego County high school district is currently considered number 1? So she said Point Loma.
She's in Point Loma.
Okay.
It's an affluent neighborhood.
It is, but she's
of parental age.
It sounded so. We could assume that. But a little bit removed, though, from where the common knowledge, everybody kind of knows the perennials, right? It's Poway School District, then you got the Torrey Pines, and there's tons of up-and-coming schools like down in East Lake and spread throughout the county. But specifically, I asked for number 1. And so because
high school.
Yeah, because I think this is such a common thread in San Diego County, I think she's going to get this.
That's bold.
I think she's going to get this. I think she's going to guess Poway School District, which, by the way, arguably, I got a couple different references I'm going to give you here. Greatschools.com. You've heard of that one, right?
I have.
That's one of the main ones. Only gave one all 10 out of 10 rating out of any of the high schools in San Diego County, and it was in Scripps Ranch.
Wow.
Which is that little bottom belly of the Poway.
Uh-huh.
The other one, of course, is school-ratings.com.
Okay.
Jeremy, I know you're familiar with some of these sites. If you're not, you can check all these resources out on our site. We're going to put the show notes up at secretstashradio.com. But a couple other 10 rankers on the school ratings was Del Norte High, Westview High. These are in the San Diego School District. Then, of course, there's the Scripps Ranch, Canyon Crest, Torrey Pines.
These are all the choices that someone would have.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So I basically grabbed from these two sites and said, if you give any of these, predominantly most, in the Poway School District, then I'm gonna give you that answer correctly.
Okay, all right.
So I'm gonna say she guesses yes, and she guesses Poway, and I'm gonna say she's gonna get this right. Let's see what we got, Jeff.
God, I sure hope it's Point Loma. I live here with my kids, and that's where they go.
Dude! Am I making a ham sandwich?
You had a fill-in-the-blank answer, and you went with the answer. That's a tough call. That was bold.
She went with her heart.
She did.
She was addicted to hopium. That there was a school right there in Point Loma. Hey, and the chances are it's probably a great school.
I imagine it is.
In Point Loma. Unfortunately, though, I'm
getting so hungry.
Didn't make the list.
Yeah.
So is this a foregone conclusion now?
It's going to be easy, especially because my next question is probably good for me.
Well, that's a great setup. Jeff, who did we hit up for Jer next?
Jason, 27, and from Encinitas.
Okay.
Jason, 27, Encinitas. Right. Okay, so right there on the verge. Like maybe a homeowner, might not be a homeowner. What'd you ask Jason?
Well, something that's not applicable to his age bracket. Can you use a reverse mortgage to purchase a home, or is it just for refinances?
Interesting. So what say you about that?
Reverse mortgages are something that people won't really pay attention to until they're later on down the road. Mm-hmm. For those who don't know, I think everybody does, but just real quickly, it's a way that you can kind of leverage your home to not have to make payments anymore. Potentially just live in the home until you pass on without making a payment again. Or you can even reap cash out of it. Most people use a refinance strategy because they own the home and then they switch it from a traditional mortgage or owning it outright to a reverse mortgage, which either pays them or lets them to live in the home for free.
Interesting. So what's coming up for me is there's probably a couple caveats, right? So you got to have equity, I would imagine, right?
Age and equity are the big ones.
So you got to be a certain age. Mm-hmm. What does it start at?
62, I believe.
62, you can start applying for this. And then what's the minimum amount of equity you need to have?
I think it's 40%.
Okay, wow.
So it's a good chunk of money because basically what the lender's doing is they're going to either give you a check or pay off your old mortgage, whatever it is, and then let you not make any payments. Their reward is the home at the time of your passing, essentially, or when you sell it.
But it stays in the family, though, right? You're not signing over the property to the bank.
At the time of the person who's on the mortgage, they're passing, they can leave it to their estate, of course, but then they have to sell it or pay off the loan.
Got it.
Now, the trick is, let's say you start with a $300,000 loan, it's accumulating interest. And as opposed to a traditional mortgage where it's simple interest, this is compounding. Because let's say that they add payments every few moments. Say once a month, you get a certain percentage rate.
Yeah.
And then they add it right onto how much you owe. So as you imagine, your loan grows relative to the value of your home, typically outpacing the equity increase.
Now, what's hilarious about this, it's almost kind of a way that like the parents can kind of stick it to the kids a little bit, because they work their whole life to give their kids a great life, and then they're at a spot now where they're like, hey, man, I need to live on some of this equity a little bit, right? So get a reverse mortgage as long as you got the equity and you're old enough to be able to qualify for, and then live off of that gain that you basically created yourself. It's almost like self-arbitrage.
Yeah, and just laugh your butt off as you spend your kids' money.
And then, of course, the one spoiled one who gets the check at the end thinking they're going to ride off into the equity sunset, and they're like, oh, my God, there's none left. I love it. Okay, so your answer was what?
So the truth is that you can purchase with a refinance or with a reverse mortgage, excuse me.
You just got to put enough down.
You just put enough down. And what a lot of people do is they leverage the sale of their one home. They move into their last home, throw a chunk down, no payments.
That's actually really cool, man.
It is cool.
That's kind of a cool strategy.
It's not for everybody.
Right. Okay, good. So yes or no?
No, he's not going to get it.
He's not going to get it. Jeff, what do you think?
Refinances.
Refinances only.
Yeah.
Which means
I'm going to win this running away.
Dude, this is me right now. Okay, all right, listen. Appreciate that.
Who gave you those buttons?
You're obviously smarter than me. Maybe you could argue engineered the questions a little bit more in your favor. We're just going to say smarter than me right now. But coming up, we still got one more base to cover. And we're going to learn about where San Diego sits right now in the overall affordability conversation for all of the country.
That's interesting.
Okay, and then I heard that you're going to drop some knowledge about FHA mortgage
that's
insurance
fun
premiums,
too.
which actually this is going to be a really important thing.
It's a really
for first-time
popular
buyers.
topic right now.
So thank you for sticking around. You in the stash, baby. We'll be right back.
Be sure to follow the show on Facebook at Jesse's Secret Stash and on Twitter at Follow the Stash.
Put your hands in the air.
You are listening listening to The Secret Stash with host Jesse Ibañez on ESPN Radio 1700.
Look what you done started.
Had a kid, Jeff. Way to drop it hot for the fourth segment. We got to keep it live because you in the stash, baby. And we do in our final segment, Stash in the Street. Jeremy's running away with this. With this ridiculous worded questions. I actually played by the rules. We'll get to more of that later. Jeff, who's my last victim? Who's my last victim we ran into in the street?
Robert, Encinitas, California, 48.
Okay, Robert. Listen, Robert, Encinitas, so the question we asked him was true or false. Okay, coin flipped it. According to, I had to cite a source, interest.com. I'd never even been on that site before I found this.
Yeah.
San Diego holds the current title as a major metropolitan city with the second worst affordability in the country.
Dang.
Now, we all know that's obviously the case, but the question here is in the detail, are we second?
Yeah.
Where are we? Are we fifth? Are we first? I don't know about that. Are we second?
Okay. I don't know this.
Well, Jeff, let's see if Robert knew it.
True.
He got it right! Son of a gun, he got it right.
I want to see your answers.
Dude, I got a goose egg.
I don't know if I believe you.
I didn't get a single one correct this entire game.
That was your first true?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, he got it. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah,
so I already
I don't know. I think won. I think I did the thing backwards there. I was congratulating Robert for getting it right. So basically here's the gist. San Francisco, worst. You probably could have guessed that, right?
Yeah.
Average median price for a home is $770,000.
Crazy up there.
You know how much money you got to make?
It's crazy up there.
Okay, we're not far off though. We're up to $504,200.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
a
higher
pretty
than
good
I would
jump.
expect.
That's a pretty good jump.
But San Diego County.
Wow. And then it's got L.A. So we actually passed up L.A. if you can believe this.
Correct. I would hope so.
They're at 420. It's a good number to be. Then Washington D.C.
What does that mean?
Had 403, Jeremy. And then Boston, and then New York. All right, fair enough.
Dang.
So apparently I'm making lunch for you tomorrow.
San Diego's less affordable than New York?
Yeah, the only one that's worse is San Francisco. Let's put it that way.
Dude.
All right, let's please. Can I put myself out of my misery? Jeff, who do we run into for Jeremy's last one?
My name is Ryan. I'm from Fallbrook, and I'm 25 years old.
Cool. Ryan from Fallbrook, 25.
I actually love Fallbrook.
Fallbrook's a dope spot, man.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah. Okay, what did you ask Ryan?
FHA just lowered their mortgage insurance premiums. I don't know if you're a homeowner, you probably know this. If not, you don't. By how much did they drop? 0.1%, 0.25%, 0.5%, or a full percent?
No way. So you're saying he has to guess this?
I mean, I gave him 4 choices.
You're ridiculous. We're totally checking his questions next time, Adrian. Okay, give your answer.
He's got a 1 in 4.
Give your answer.
I'm going to throw you a bone and say, yeah, he'll get it.
All right.
That puts the odds in your favor.
Thanks, bud. Thanks. Okay, Jeff, what did Robert say? Actually,
I'm going to go with 1%.
Oh, so close. Right. It's a halfer. All right, check it out. Just real quick. I know we're running out of time here, but we
got all the time in the world for you, Jer.
Oh, thank you, Jess.
Yeah. But go ahead and drop it.
Okay. So with a 0.5% drop in the mortgage insurance, it's effectively like a 0.5% drop in interest rates. So people who have FHA loans need to be knowing about this, and people who are going to get one need to know about this. But let me tell you the effective difference. Okay. Before, your mortgage insurance on a $400,000 loan would be $450 a month. Now it's $283. That, let me just put these in terms that people care about, that can increase your buying power by $30,000 to $35,000. What?
You know Mario, bro.
Did I just hit a coin box?
You think you did, man?
That was, I think it's pretty impactful.
That's crazy.
And what we're seeing is people saving money and going.
Jeremy, they're going to have to talk to you in order to get that information for themselves. Everybody's situation is different. How would somebody get in touch with you to get the mortgage plan for themselves?
Well, as I understand, I'm featured prominently on the Secret Stash website, so that would be cool.
And why don't you talk about your charity real quick? Plug that real quick.
Oh, that's good. At our charity, Jesse, at the GreenHouse group, we're doing something really cool now, and for every transaction that we do, we're donating a handsome chunk of money to a charity. And the coolest part about this is it's crowdsourced on our Facebook page. So the GreenHouse group, Facebook Facebook page. Every month you get to go in, you vote for your favorite charity.
Yep.
You get to pick it, so you can pick it, have people vote, and we're donating. The first month we did this was last month. We donated $700 to the winning charity.
Yeah, it was a rescued dog. Very cool local charity.
It was not a rescued dog. It was for rescued
the rescued dog.
Yeah, one dog got a check for $700.
Rolled up, and it's
he's wasted right now.
Benzo. Yeah, okay, good. So listen, thank you for that, Jared. Thank you for your contribution, Stash on the Street. And for more information about you, about your charity, about what you do, folks can go to thegreenhousegroupinc.com /Jeremy, right? Or they can call, too. So what's the best number?
858-863-0262.
0262 for Jeremy and the Mortgage Plan. And listen, if you appreciated this segment and you have a question of your own that you would like to submit for next Stash on the Street, follow us on Twitter. We're at followthestash, STASH.com. Go ahead and submit your question here, there, and we will hope to feature it next month's segment of Stash on the Street. Jeremy, thanks for coming, my man.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Appreciate
your
fun. Contribution. Looks like you're going to get a ham sandwich.
Stash it up.
For lunch tomorrow. And for you, thank you for hanging out with us. We'll catch you back here next week. We got a really cool show in store for you with a couple local entrepreneurs that you're not going to want to miss. We'll see you then.
Thanks for listening to The Secret Stash. If you missed any of the show, check out the podcast at secretstashradio.com. And we'll be back next Tuesday at noon right here on ESPN Radio 1700.